What's going on, everybody? It's Coach Harper here. And listen, today, man, I want to just come up here and just kind of talk to you guys, because I want you to understand kind of where I'm headed with this whole thing. And it's not so much as a business thing. What it is kind of business, but not really so much as a business thing than it is more so for me to be able to kind of show you guys more of my real personality, show you guys, kind of who I am, so you understand who you're dealing with when it comes to learning things from me and me teaching you how to get your kid to start running faster. And one of the things that God was dealing with me with as I was in my thought processes and things today was being a little bit more accessible to the people that are listening to me. All right, there's the people that are learning from me, and so I want to make sure that I come out and I just digitally or virtually shake your hand and virtually converse with you. And so one of the things God was dealing with me with this is just being a little bit more open and let you kind of get a glimpse of what's going on. But here's the direction. Not really more so a new direction, kind of a new direction, but something that I just needed to be expanded on. So I'm not moving away from what I normally do, but I'm just expanding, if that makes sense. I'm going to expand on what I've been doing to be able to serve, you guys even more on a higher level. And that's what we want to be. We want to serve you I want to serve you at the highest level. So one of the things that God revealed to me is that, it's like when you're business, you're teaching people how to get their kids to run faster, right? And so that's a great thing. That's a great thing. We're teaching you guys how to get your kids to run faster. They're running faster. They're dominating their sport. And that's amazing. And one of the things I've been asking God is like, okay, so I want to make lasting change in people. And teaching a kid how to run faster, yeah, that does give them lasting change. They'll have something that will change their life forever. But God was like, you need to look a little bit deeper. Come out a little bit and look at this thing from a bird's eye view and really see what you're doing and really see the final output of what's going to happen once you start teaching these kids and what to do, and they actually start to get better at their sport and they start doing that. And so he said, then I was sitting there just trying to figure it out, and then I look up at my board, my vision board. Not my vision board, but my business board. And at the top, I write my vision and my mission statement. And one of the things that I wanted to do is make sure that I have meaningful experiences and create lasting transformation to everybody that I talk to. And so I was like, okay, cool. Transformation comes through them running faster, and then they dominate their sport. They become a whole different player. They get, their status changed. But then I looked under that, and it says, I wanted to inspire people or encourage people to be masters of their own destiny and live a life of freedom of the mind and freedom through entrepreneurship. And I was like, okay, how can I do that teaching kids how to run? And I was like, and I started to think of it as I looked up at the board, and then I looked down at my paper, because I always tend to get into I got a little notebook, and I write in my notebook, and when I write, I'm writing to God. I'm asking God to answer my questions, and he normally does. So I write down, God, what do you want me to do with this platform? I've got quite a few people on this platform, and people are coming in, they're getting what they need, and they're leaving. And I was like, it's got to be more to it than just that. And that's when it hit me, kind of like, that divine download. And it was like, through entrepreneurship, like think about Deion Sanders. And I was talking to my coach, and he was like, yo, think about Deion Sanders. How would Deion Sanders do this? Now, I look up to Deion Sanders. If you would have seen me in high school, I played football in high school, I was Deion Sanders. I was Deion Sanders. Like, yo, they used to call me Deion because I was Deion Sanders. And so I remember last night before I went to sleep, I asked God, yo, show me what I need to do. And then when I went to sleep, I dreamed about sitting with Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders, and we were all sitting down and we were talking, and Shedeur was getting this new deal, and he had this. It was really weird. He had this chain. He was like, "Yo, you can keep the chain. You can keep the thing. I'm getting more where I got something where I'm doing more." And then I was like, "Why? What does that have to do with what I'm talking about now?" But God showed me is like, yo, what would Deion Sanders do with his kids? Like, he's not teaching his kids, yo, football is it. He's like, no, he's teaching them about life, and he's teaching them about life is like overall, but he's also teaching them how to be a person who has a good heart. You're teaching them how to be young men, teaching those young men how to be men, how to grow up and be fathers, and and have morals and standards and stuff. It's like, so that's the type of things that I obviously want to start doing, is of course with the kids that I'm working with, but also what God specifically pointed out to me is that part where it says masters of their own destiny. And as I start to think about the college landscape and how Deion Sanders is navigating that college landscape with his sons, and I think I did a video about this probably last year sometime, with his sons and with Travis and with all the kids on his team, is he's teaching them how to build their own brand and make it so that those guys have the ability to have something that they didn't have from where they came from. So it's not necessarily really about the money for them, but it's about the money in the sense that he's teaching them how to build their brand and make it clean, so that those companies will start investing in them, and so that those guys will have something that they can take home to their family and take care of their family with. And so as I started to think about the people that I'm serving, I'm like, hey, the ultimate goal here is for these kids to get faster so they get better at their sport. But getting better at their sport and dominating their sport is not really the end goal. The end goal is for them to get a scholarship so they can get to school, get an education, and they become a productive citizen, and they live a good life, and they live a good life, they can give back, and then, they can help their family if they need to, right? It's about making a way out. It's not about the money. It's not about all of that stuff. So when I thought about my mission, I was like, okay, that's where my mission connects. I'm thinking literally my mission is to, just to get these kids to run faster. Man, I'm getting sneezy. Just to get these kids to run faster. And that's not necessarily the final thing. The thing is to show them how to put their brand together so that they have a clean brand, and that they position themselves to go to a place where they get a scholarship, and they don't have to pay any money for them to actually be, they don't have to pay any money for them to get an education, and so they can go out and they can be a productive citizen, get a good job, or become an entrepreneur, or do the things that's going to come after the sport. So if we're really looking at it, we're really looking at, we're trying to dominate the sport so we can get a free education, so that we can be something, so we can extend past that and be a productive citizen, or be a business person, or be a professional athlete. And when we think about them being a professional athlete, even if our goal is to being a professional athlete, we got to still think that that person is still a business. That person still has a brand. Think about, the first person that comes to my head is Jalen Ramsey, because everybody's making fun of him about that Zesty interview. But the first person I think about is Jalen Ramsey. And so I'm going to use Jalen Ramsey. If he 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 had to not only sell himself to the college that he went to, but he had to sell himself while he was in college. He had to sell himself to the NFL. Now, once he got into the NFL, he still has a brand. His brand, unfortunately, is one of those ones where we know that he talks a lot of trash and he backs it up. And so he's a top-notch player. We know he talks a lot of trash. LeBron James, we know that his brand is clean. His brand is immaculate. We've never heard anything bad about LeBron James. People hate on him. People love him. But you got to understand, like, yo, he's a businessman. He makes things happen. I just realized that he was an executive producer behind one of these Netflix shows. It was a Netflix show about Madam C.J. Walker. He was down, like, I didn't even know he did that. So when we think about the brand, and not necessarily even having to be a pro athlete brand, but your brand, as you are branding them, their kids right now, they're branding themselves to make themselves attractive to their high school. They're branding themselves in high school to make them attractive for their college. They're branding themselves in college to make themselves attractive for the pros. Even if they don't go pro in the sport, they're going to go pro in their field. So they're still branding themselves. So we need to teach them a skill of branding themselves and how to show themselves up on social media, how to put themselves out there into the world, how to talk to people, how to do all of these things. But inside of that capsule is that speed and that agility and those things that's going to open the doors for them to be a productive citizen down the line. So if I'm thinking about me as a parent, I'm a father of three kids, and all three of them play sports. And my oldest son is now 13. He is now getting himself ready to go to high school. And I'm thinking now, I'm like, bump high school, I'm thinking college. Like, what are we going to do for college? And we're going to talk about, that's a whole nother thing, but we'll talk about that later. But I'm thinking, like, what does he want to do for college? What are we going to do for him for college? How are we going to get him to college? We need to, like, it starts now because he's getting ready to go into 8th grade next year. We need to make sure that he is presenting himself online in a fashion that's going to appeal to these college coaches, that's going to appeal to his high school coaches, so he gets on the field earlier, so he can be prepared for college. So it starts now. And so I even got him working on his social media and making sure he's not putting any crap up there, and making sure that he's putting the right things, because these are things where it's going to bring in an actual income for him. He can do it while he's in high school. I've seen kids with NIL deals in high school. They just signed a deal here in Georgia that allowed them to be able to use name, image, and likeness here in Georgia. So I am getting him ready and making sure that he is setting himself for his personal brand on his social media, so that he goes and he gets paid and he doesn't have to pay for school. I had to pay for school my first 2 years, and then I got a scholarship, and then I continued my education. So I had to end up paying for my education after my continuing education. But I want to make sure that this kid has no debt after he finished college. I want to make sure he goes to college, gets a free education, and has no debt. And so that's what this whole thing is about. So it's about teaching your kids about that personal brand, and it's about branding them and then making sure that they understand that and that they can go be a productive citizen, whether it be pro sports or pro in their career. All right. So that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon so that you never miss an upload, and stay tuned to the channel, because we're going to be doing some more talks like this and some more amazing things as it comes up. Go Falcons.